Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Ramim's vlog once again. Hello viewers, how are you? Hope you enjoyed a lot during this lockdown Eid. How Dhaka looks during lockdown. After Eid day, here you can see the street of Dhaka are freely quiet and empty as the city silently marks day one of 10-day lockdown announced by the government to curb the spread of the novel coronavirus. You can see the in front of Baridhara DOHS and the Bonani railway station near to the Radisson Hotel. We are heading to Baridhara to Mirpur DOHS, and you can see few vehicles are seen here, but most of the private vehicles. The public transportation is fully stopped. So here you can see this is the first ever experienced the whole nation and the whole world during this lockdown. Normally Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha, both the occasions, both the Muslim occasions, we are facing free Dhaka actually, but during this lockdown it's look more empty than before. So here you can see the ECB circle, Mirpur zone flyover. Few rickshaw puller with engine rickshaw puller. Just see. We are heading to Mirpur only 15 minutes journey from Baridhara DOHS. So it was a nice experience. Normally during this Eid vacation, Dhaka looks like similar, but this time it's quite unbelievable to see this, because people are sometimes very conscious, and mass people, I didn't found anyone that they were in PPE, they were in mask on their face, quite a few, but that shouldn't be. They should use it properly for their own safety. So you can see the whole development works are also stopped and hold on due to this lockdown situation. So all the developing process are going to be delayed due to this lockdown and the economy goes down. Although our government decided to open everything and liberal this lockdown situation so that people can move forward, the lower medium income level people and mid-range people and all the corporate office, because our economy is hampered and become more saving. already shows cost of delaying more than 38 billion Bangladesh Delta Plan. So it's cost a lot. And next month the budget will be announced 2021. So the economic priorities I think are not reflected in development expenditure. What should be the priorities, guys, for the national budget for 2020-2021 fiscal year? What should be the priorities? What do you think, guys? Please comments on below comment sections. I'd like to know your views and thoughts. Our all senior research fellow in the Bangladesh Institute of Development Studies like BEADS and all the CPD fellows, all the policy dialogue are discussing a lot about this, including the World Bank in Bangladesh region. So actually, as a developing country like Bangladesh, the necessity of revisiting the expenditure priorities of the budget are inevitable. But our annual development plan, the whole flow allocated in something different way. The discussion how will we spend in the budget, whether we emphasize on expenditure, that should be our first priorities, because our health condition, the situation is become worsened. And that is the challenge, the great challenge of the health sector. The curve is flattening actually, and this attempt to flatten the curve is making our poverty curve steeper. So this is the challenge, flattening both curves at the same time. And now the question is how we will intervene here with both pharmaceuticals and non-pharmaceuticals intervention. Actually depends on where we are standing on the curve of the virus infection right now here in Bangladesh. Always there is a lack of information, and the fellow CPD and the ex-caretaker government advisor, Mr. Jillur Rahman, I think his name is Hossein Jillur Rahman. He said it many times that if there is any lack of transparency about information, it will be very hard for us to determine the tactics, both the health sector and the economy. And we know very well that in Bangladesh we have not been able to collect the necessary data for calculating the ideal index. The virus reproductivity rate, especially what we have seen so far, we do not have the data about tracing. It is very hard to calculate this index. I personally monitor a calculation regularly, which I want to share with you. so far we have 570 observation about testing and information. Every week I calculate the elasticity of this data as to how the number of infections increases with number of tests. I calculate it using stock data and flow data. For the last 4 weeks, in stock data, the daily number of total infected cases and total number of tests, the elasticity of infection in comparison to testing is almost 1.3. This means that if testing increases 10%, we see 13% increase in the number of infections. If you calculate it using flow data, then the elasticity is 1.17, which means of the testing flow increases by 10% and infection increases almost 11.67%. In both cases, elasticity is more than 1. And I am calculating this elasticity for the last 4 weeks. What I observe is that the number is almost at the same level, is close to 1.3, 1.17, 1.16, 1.267. That means the elasticity is not decreasing and is always increasing. If the elasticity came down below 1%, then we could understand that if we increase the number of tests a great deal, we would find fewer infections. As long as the elasticity is above 1, we will not be confirmed that we have identified all the infected cases. It is clear from these data that the number of tests is inadequate. Testing must be increased on a massive scale. Then we will understand if we are able to bring any kind of changes in terms of flattening the curve. So, to me, if I conclude in such a way that we have not achieved any success in flattening the curve, in this situation we are going to prepare a budget where we have to emphasize flattening the poverty curve or flattening the unemployment curve. You can see the present situation as well. So many middle class families and lower middle class families are suffering a lot. Now the question is, on which sectors we have to emphasize in this budget? High priority on the health sector, on social protection, food security, agriculture, or social and medium enterprises. Because we cannot expect much from international business dependent economy in this situation right now. So our growth will come from business based on the local market. The education sector is also getting high priority, but we have not seen any reflection of these priorities in the information concerning the budget, especially in the annual development program. I want to begin with some of our fellow members who has been declared on behalf of CPD, Center for Policy Dialogue. I think he's Dr. Mustafizur Rahman, I think. He mentioned that how do you explain that the reality is being acknowledged? What I should say, the rhetorically by the civil society, experts and the government, but it is not being reflected in any action. What is the explanation for this? And the advices that he has given what do we have to do to reflect that in the budget? The reality is not being reflected in the budget because COVID-19 has brought us towards the new reality where we have to rethink our priorities. But the fact is, we do not. The fact is we are not being able to come out of our stereotypes. We say that we have to allocate more in the health sector to the social safety programs, etc. And then stop thinking. But as you said that we have to flatten both the virus and the poverty gap. So from this perspective, we had a chance to change the philosophy of our budget. For many years, we have not been able to go beyond this stereotype budget. This year, we had a chance to focus on the economy that we need in our future. Thank you very much. Stay tuned, stay safe. Keep subscribe on my channel to get more update.